Researcher Dr. David Ostrow has found that while gay men like Tim Miller have remained uninfected or HIV negative, they may not have escaped the psychological horrors of the disease. As part of a National Institute of Mental Health study, Dr. Ostrow has examined the psychological impact AIDS has had on Chicago's gay community. The study began in 1984 with 1,000 gay men. 8 years later, only 1/2 of the men remain HIV negative.
I think that there's a sense of burnout, both at the individual and the community level. We've seen, men with tremendous degrees of what they call survivor guilt and depression and anger, having lost so many of the members of their community and circle of friends, and in many cases, lover or even multiple lovers over the course of the 12 years.
Here in Chicago, death has not hit the gay community as hard as it has in San Francisco or New York. But while those cities have seen a leveling off of the disease among gay men, here AIDS is still on the rise. Last year in Chicago, 1,535 cases of AIDS were reported, up 16% from the year before. Nationwide, more than 180,000 people have died from AIDS, more than were lost in the Vietnam War. Miller is not clinically depressed as many gay men are, but faced with so much death at the age of 31, he has suffered.
To see the deterioration, for a person to go from, say, during a 6-month period from 160 pounds down to 80 pounds and lose all their hair and not be able to speak and be paralyzed on one side of their body. It's intense, and it all becomes demoralizing. It's almost debilitating at times. It's very difficult to deal with.
Well, once again, we're here to remember lovingly the things that Michael was to each one of us.
Since many gay men, especially those with AIDS, have been cut off from their families, their only caretakers are often their partners, who at a young age are forced to deal with terminal illness.
So long, Michael. Thank you for everything.
Bye, Michael.
Stuart Telford died of AIDS 3 years ago. At age 30, Ira Johnson lost the man he had nursed for 3 years.
I had a hard time sleeping. I could not sleep for almost a year, a couple hours a night. That was about it. And so that, I'm not sure if it was from depression or sort of the horror of watching a vibrant young person shrivel up and die right in front of your eyes.
One way Johnson dealt with his loss was to design a patch for the AIDS Memorial quilt. He went to Washington last October to see it displayed.
It's a way of remembering and having other people focus attention on this problem. To remember on one hand, play activist on the other.
It was one of the few things he could do. Services to help HIV-negative men deal with their trauma are scarce, and healthy gay men are often reluctant to take resources away from those who have the virus. But Dr. Ostrow says emotional help is needed for healthy gay men whose partners and friends often act as their only family.
Psychologically, it's been a double whammy, because at the same time that you're watching others get ill and die, who are very close to you, and trying to help them, you're losing the sources of support for your own mental health and maintain a positive quality of life. So we see individuals who are suffering what is akin to post-traumatic stress disorder and burnout.
Okay, what about a gift?
Fearing the loss of his partner, Bill Lavery pulled together a group of friends to form an informal support group. Lavery is HIV negative, but his partner of 13 years, Ernie Ortiz, has AIDS. Since the 14-member group began meeting, everyone but Lavery has tested HIV positive.
Something that I think of in my private thoughts when I'm sitting alone having coffee or something, I reflect back and I think of those who have gone, those who are in it right now, and how long they'll be here. And when they are gone, I do wonder, like, well, I'm the only one left. What kind of a existence will it be